Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show a wonderful game played between Mikhail Tal and Tigran Petrosian. This was played in 1974 in the Soviet Teams Championship. Both players are former world champions. Tal was the 8th world champion and Petrosian was the 9th world champion. Let's check out the game. Starts with knight f3, g6, e4, and bishop g7. The pierce defense is on the board through a different move order. d4 and d6. Knight c3, knight f6, bishop e2, a more modest development than bishop c4, and black castles, white castles, and knight c6. Here Tal takes the opportunity to expand in the center and goes for d5, pushing the knight away. Knight b8, just going back and will recover through knight bd7 later on. That's the idea. Rook e1 and e5, striking in the center. If Tal were not to capture, then the position remains closed with a locked center, which is more of Petrosian's style. But Tal prefers to open open up lines on the board. So d into e6, and this allows bishop into e6 with a tempo. Some development with while capturing the piece, and bishop f4 first, developing the last minor piece, and h6. Knight d4. Now that h6 has been played, g6 is a little vulnerable, so black certainly does not want a capture on e6. Bishop d7, just tucking back, and queen d2. Attacking h6 and king h7, defending. e5 now, trying to open up some lines in the center. D takes e5 and bishop takes e5. Over here, a reasonable continuation could be rook to e8, attacking the bishop, and queen f4 defending, and then knight c6, putting some pressure on the central pieces and going for some exchanges. Now this allows bishop into c7, and black loses a pawn, but it's okay. You can play queen c8, get out of the way, and perhaps there could be some trades here, knight into c6 and bishop into c6. Black would be alright, although white would be slightly better here. However, after bishop into e5, Petrosian played knight e4. He had an idea of exchanging pieces like this and get the bishop pair. However, there's a problem. After knight into e4 and bishop into e5, there's a simple move gaining some time on the bishop and thereby paralyzing black. It seems quite odd to say that, but that's exactly what happens. We have knight f3 attacking the bishop, and after bishop g7, rook ad1. And if we look closely, there's immense pressure on the d file. The bishop on d7 cannot move because the queen on d8 would hang. The knight on b8 cannot develop because the bishop on d7 would hang. So Petrosian was forced to move away with queen c8, and we see that most of black's pieces are quite passive. Bishop c4, clearing the path of the rook, putting the bishop on a good diagonal, attacking f7, very sensible, and bishop e8, getting out of the way of the queen and the rook battery, and of course defending f7 also. But knight eg5, it's a bit too late for black now. H takes g5, and the other knight hops into g5 with check. If king g8 reacting to the check, but then queen f4, simply threatening queen h4 and queen h7, and we see that there's a rook on f8 and then a bishop on e8, so the king is completely stuck on g8. So you really need pieces on the king side to defend. If queen f5, hoping for the queen trade, but white will ignore you and go for queen h4. And the only way to prolong the game would be to give up the queen. Black can resign anyway. It doesn't help. But after queen f4, Petrosian tried knight d7. And we have a Tal move here. One attacking, simply do not count material. Rook into d7. Just get rid of the defender, which could come on f6 and defend h7. And after bishop into d7, he simply played bishop into f7. Now he played bishop into f7 check, and Petrosian resigned. It's just a little important to note. I mean, you could go for queen h4 here, but the rook can move now and create some space, create some breathing room for the king. But that would also be perfectly fine. But Tal chose bishop into f7, which ends the game on the spot, because if after rook into f7, then queen into f7, and king at h8 is the only move, and queen g6. This is good enough to win. Black is completely lost here. So wonderful victory for Mikhail Tal. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon for the next game.